And sadly, Lou, up until now, it's worked. What she has not anticipated is the type of candidacy Trump has created, which I think supersedes this type of name-calling, because he goes to the heart of the matter, speaks on issues in a way that real people understand. When he talks about terrorism, he's not doing it in that politically correct kind of old vernacular of Washington. People are sincerely worried. 89% of Americans fear an attack on the homeland. And
that would be Islamophobia.
Correct. Correct. Well, if you put it in the Hillary category, yes, perhaps. But the point is, he's at least discussing it without the trappings of political correctness, and people are relating to it, which is why he's ahead on those types of issues.
Harry, this guy, when he comes up, and I'm referring to the, I should say, when Donald Trump comes up on the screen and says, what is she talking about?
Correct.
Who ever dreamed a candidate would have the judgment to dismiss that kind of nonsense out of hand the way he did?
Well, first of all, I'd like to correct my friend here, Tony, that this goes way back before 2006. I mean, even if you go back to, say, the campaign of 1980, I mean...
Used effectively in the modern time.
Okay, certainly.
We'll have a sidebar on that later.
Absolutely. However, but if you think about it for a moment, as far as Hillary Clinton is concerned, I mean, she is trying to woo Republicans right now who may not be satisfied with Donald Trump. I get press releases from her campaign daily as to which major Republicans are not happy with Donald Trump. Well, if this is how she's going to do it, this is not really the right way to do it.
Let's be straightforward here. What she just did looked silly as the dickens to me. I mean, there's no connection there. And Trump makes a connection with almost every sentence with his those he wants to reach with his message, and she's using Latin derivatives that are utterly, they're lighter than air.
But you know what, though? Anytime a liberal ends up using racism, xenophobia, and those types of, as we like to call them, dog whistles, very often people who may be in the middle, people who may not be necessarily happy with Donald Trump, even they will just roll their eyes like, oh, here we go.
As unoriginal as it is, Lou, here's what she's hoping to accomplish, okay? Because you're right. I mean, even in her presentation, it was kind of tired and lame. And Trump's reaction was perfect because he called her out on it. But the problem is you have almost 400 Republican candidates running for some sort of federal office who are not as adept or courageous as Donald Trump to take these types of issues on. So what she's trying to do, and we've seen it in the pressers with Paul Ryan on Capitol Hill, is to get the media to say, hey, Hillary Clinton just said Donald Trump is Islamophobe, and they create their own cycle based on that.
And those folks who you described as somewhat less valiant than, say, Donald Trump, the standard bearer for the party, some of them are running from it. Are you seeing evidence in your campaigns that congressmen, senators are having trouble because of Donald Trump?
In certain races, in certain regions, certainly, of course. But I have to tell you, I work in congressional races across the country. So, go ahead.
Where are those places? What percentage of the races, and how big are those problems? Can you overcome them? And is he attracting attention and positive flow anywhere else?
The downside for Trump is generally in suburban districts with female voters where the gender gap is hurting some of our candidates. But there are extended suburban districts, I've seen them even in races we're doing here in the Northeast in New York, where Trump is performing very strongly, and yet you still see some candidates.
Has he got coattails?
He will have better coattails than she will.
That's quite a statement.
No, there's absolutely...
The Democrats better start getting all ginned up then, because with that statement, they're the ones who better be worrying about down ticket.
But remember, as long as we have these terrorist attacks happening right now, particularly if Hillary Clinton is not responding to a way that people are beginning to feel a little more fearful that it could very well happen here again, she may have some problems in the future, especially since a number of wary Republicans on Trump are beginning to feel more confident about him as a result of his last speech.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the numbers in these polls in the weeks ahead. And I know it's early and it doesn't matter much, but it does look like there is a change. First of all, it's an observable change in the way in which he is communicating and getting his message out. It's going to be interesting to see if that has an effect on the numbers. So we're coming toward that. Carrie Pickett and Tony Saying, good to have you both here, as always. Thank you. Breaking news now, federal safety regulators are investigating Tesla. That after a man was killed when his Model S crashed while in autopilot mode. The fatal accident occurred last month near Gainesville, Florida, when a tractor-trailer cut the Tesla driver off. Tesla says neither the autopilot software nor the driver saw the other vehicle and the brake was not applied. The accident is believed to be the first fatality involving a semi-autonomous or self-driving car. And now, incredible footage coming from southern Japan. This house crashing down a steep hill, completely collapsing in that mudslide. I mean, this is, I mean, what in the world must Japan endure? Tsunamis, meltdowns, earthquakes. Fortunately, the area had been evacuated just the day before. No one in those homes when that happened. Up next, Donald Trump says he's outperforming Mitt Romney with Hispanics.
I just saw the poll that came out. I think it's at Quinnipiac, where I'm at 33%. I'm at 33% with Hispanic. Now I'm 6 or 7 or 8 points higher than Romney was.
Well, why won't Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan just, well, why don't they just stop it? They keep trying to undermine Trump. What's going on? Well, I've got a few thoughts about that, and that's the subject of my commentary coming up here next. Stay with us. Much more ahead.
Beautiful Sun Valley, where titans of tech and media meet. Trends are forecasted and deals get done. Adam Shapiro brings you the cutting edge all day Wednesday on Fox Business Network. Brought to you by Wisdom Tree. To learn more, visit wisdomtree.com.